17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has been released from the Collin County Jail after posting bond. A judge reduced his bond this morning from $1 million to $250,000. He's facing a murder charge after police say he stabbed another teenager, Austin Metcalf.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for the Anthony family.
Now these liberals are saying, oh, this isn't about race at all. Where was that energy when all the George Floyd riots were happening? So as y'all may know, in 2020, there was a huge protest / rioting with George Floyd that sparked a hashtag that's called Black Lives Matter. Obviously, later on, it came out that Black Lives Matter was a huge scandal. So in 2020 and a few years later after that, you couldn't even speak against Black Lives Matter. You had to kind of just conform to everybody around you. You kind of have to just pretty much walk up to a local black person and hug them saying, I love you, brother, Black Lives Matter. And obviously this was a scare tactic that launched Joe Biden into the White House because it was just all fear. So a few hashtags pushed against this Black Lives Matter hashtag, like All Lives Matter. I literally remember when you said that you were considered racist, which is freaking crazy to me, especially thinking about it now. And there was also a hashtag that said White Lives Matter. So White Lives Matter was pretty much pointing out what Black Lives Matter was saying, like White Lives Matter too. So if you put, white in it, which it shouldn't make a big difference, right? But no, you're racist. Marked as part of the KKK if you dare to speak All Lives Matter or White Lives Matter. So from the title of this video, there is a hashtag going on Twitter right now called White Lives Matter, the one I just talked about. But this isn't for opposing Black Lives Matter because we already know that's a scam. So this hashtag is trending today because unfortunately, a couple weeks ago, there was an incident where a black teenage boy stabbed a white teenage boy. Unfortunately, Austin Metcalf lost his life. And the black student that stabbed him was Carmelo Anthony. So I can sit here and show you proof that it was actually an attempt to murder this person. This is my personal view. I'm not saying alleged because this is America. We don't have to sit here and say alleged like everything is a federal court case. It's just like with the O.J. Simpson trial and the Casey Anthony trial. But in the public's eye, you have the right to make your own conclusion of what a court case is going on. Just like a lot of liberals confess that Donald Trump is a convicted felon, but yet it was politically motivated, and everybody knows that with eyes and a brain. Yesterday, Carmelo Anthony was released on a $250,000 bail. And you think, oh, that's a lot of money. That's like $250,000. But he raised $500,000. So clearly he used that for a bail to get him out of jail. It was set at $1 million. There's woke judges still, unfortunately, that plague this land. And there's no justice in some of the justice systems, and especially in Democratic ran cities. And it's crazy we live in a country like this because people call me a conspiracy crazy nut job when I sit here and say, I kind of fear for my life as a white man in America and for my kid and my family because what if something like this happened to my son and this happens? Like literally a kid who was going to be charged for murder. It seems like everything is pointing out that it was intentional. Gets out free. Pretty much he has to come back, but you still get to have that freedom to go out, and he gets to go attend classes and ask permission to go to the gym. Even on a house arrest, that's nothing. You're chilling at home. You deserve to sit and rot in a jail cell until your court date comes up. And this isn't even the first time that black people have been bailed out of jail for committing heinous crimes. But yet, Daniel Penny literally was going to get thrown into federal prison for defending a subway full of people from a freaking deranged crackhead, and the crackhead happened to be black. So I wanted to hop on Twitter, look at all the White Lives Matter hashtags, and just see what people's opinions are about this. Before we get into the video, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. So I wanted to show the news article for this real quick. So let's go ahead and watch this.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony has been released from the Collin County Jail after posting bond. A judge reduced his bond this morning from $1 million to $250,000. He's facing a murder charge after police say he stabbed another teenager, Austin Metcalf, while at a track meet at a Frisco high school. Stephen Dial is in McKinney with more. Stephen.
Carmelo Anthony left the Collin County Jail in a suit but had nothing to say to the reporters before he got into that vehicle. The district court judge says that she looked at all the factors in this case, him not having a criminal history, and that led to her making her decision to reduce his bond.
So you can You can literally murder somebody and then not have a criminal history and be let go on bail. That's insane. That's insane to me. That's crazy. Imagine if the race was on the other foot, guys. Imagine if this was a white kid that stabbed a black kid. That white kid would be frog marched and made an example of. Just like the cop who kneeled on George Floyd.
17-year-old Carmelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Carmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously.
Of course, it's a freaking white liberal defending them. It's always the white liberals, guys. The white liberals are destroying this country. I hope you guys know that. So it's funny how he's sitting there saying, oh, this is a race, or they're making it a race war, and we're getting countless threats. I wonder what his stance was with the George Floyd stuff, how people were doing the same exact thing. I wonder what his take was on that. He was probably silent or speaking out for it like it's a good thing. So I don't agree with, sending threats and stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's not good to do that. There's going to be pushback on this, and he's like shocked. Oh my God, how could people push back on this? So it's just like everybody on Twitter just posting his picture, pretty much Austin Metcalf, who he is. It's so sad, guys, that we live in a world where high schoolers are like literally freaking stabbing each other. It's sad. And then it's like, Austin Metcalf's murder is getting zero coverage. Yeah, they're suppressing this crap. You think CNN is talking about this? They probably are, but it's like they are not pushing this out. They don't want people to know about this. So, this is why I'm glad Elon Musk took over Twitter, because we wouldn't probably even know about this unless he took it over. Like, I bet you the previous people who owned it would block this. And, he, like I said, he raised over $500,000. It's freaking ridiculous. And like, I think his family's going to buy a new house with it, which is, hey man, our son's a freaking loser that murdered somebody. Let's go ahead and make money off of him. At least we can get a house. I'm sorry to be kind of emotional about this, because it's like, if this happened to my son, bro, and all this was happening, I would be livid. I couldn't even imagine how the parents feel about this. It's just a lot of people posting about it. White Lives Matter, of course. And it's like, a lot of these White Lives Matter is starting to trend on Twitter, and it's not opposing Black Lives Matter. It's saying that, you guys want to sit here and scream Black Lives Matter, but when White Lives Matter is on the line, you guys don't want to say nothing. You guys want to be quiet about it. So this one kind of got my blood boiling. Minister Dominic Alexander. Yeah, you're definitely a minister of hate. Carmelo Anthony is safe at home, which he should be rotting in a freaking prison cell right now. This moment is a reminder that a community united can never be divided. The journey ahead is long, but today we celebrate a victory for justice. Yeah, that's definitely what it is. For family and for the power of people come together to protect our youth. Thank you for everyone who stood with us. The fight continues, but tonight Carmelo is home. Carmelo, whatever. I don't freaking even care. It's just so funny. And then like you go to the comments on here, everybody like there's a couple of them that are like probably the top ones. Like people saying stabbing a kid in the heart after protesting gang images is pure evil. So this guy was gang affiliated. Apparently, he just like pictures of him floating around holding guns and stuff. Yeah, this also reminds me of Kyle Rittenhouse, how he literally was defending himself with the Black Lives Matter protest, and he shot white people, and the liberals were screaming for him to get thrown into prison. They were screaming. They were like, this guy is a murderer, a freaking murderer. And, he got let go, and then they were just complaining about it. So it's kind of like right then and there, like that's what I was talking about. There's two sides to the political coin. Like you pull up stories like this. This is like a prime example of just like a political party coming together trying to throw somebody into prison. I'm glad to see justice system is working as it should for a teen with a clean criminal record. So this person is delusional. I guarantee if your child was killed by a white person, you would sit there and cry and say, oh, it's racist because he was black. That's why he died. So these people are just a bunch of delusional idiots. They have nothing about nothing. And I'm sorry to be kind of, like I said, a little bit emotional about this. See, this is the picture of him holding the gun and flipping off the camera, looking like a little thug. Of course, the picture, he's nicely dressed. Probably has his high school senior picture, like the it just reminds me of that one meme. You know, whites, please take notes. So it's just crazy how this post has like a split view, which is, I guess, is good, but it's like, it's just crazy how people can sit here and just defend it, saying this was self-defense. I know that Tim Pool saying that he thinks it's self-defense, but I don't know, just the evidence are pointing towards it was just malice. Like he wanted to kill him. He wanted to. So, you know, I just pray that things come together and justice is served. It seems unlikely right now because the judge is literally a far leftist. But at the end of the day, I don't live in fear. I have Jesus in my heart. Jesus is the God of my life. So I trust in him. And, you know, maybe if you're feeling some type of way about this too, you know, just trust and believe that the Lord is watching over you, and he will protect you and your children from something like this happening, some horrific incident happening to your kids. My faith and my joy and my hope is in Jesus Christ alone. And, you know, when stuff like this happens and angers me, and I think it's like a righteous anger that people are feeling, people who agree with him being bailed out don't have any sense of urgency of like, okay, maybe we should feel for the parents in the situation. Maybe we should feel for the families that were affected, the friends. But they don't care. They just care about their political agenda getting pushed and their race agenda getting pushed. So, you know, and there's something going around saying that this is the new black privilege. You know, you commit a crime, you're black, you're going to get $1 million. Hopefully, the justice will be served. Hopefully, this guy will face some prison time. I honestly think that it should just be life in prison. I think if you have an intention to murder anybody, no matter what age, there's something wrong with your brain and need to be put away. Obviously, with my Christian point of view from the Old Testament, that should be 6 feet under the prison. But unfortunately, we don't live in a society like that. But what do you guys think about this court case? You know, I'm not gonna be mad at you if you think it was self-defense. Are you guys outraged like I am that he got let go, and he is going to probably not face any serious consequence for murdering somebody, which is freaking insane. But leave your thoughts in the comments below and go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. I'll see you guys in the next video.